Years ago, I used to really be a little squirmy when people would say, oh, she's written an unauthorized biography, because it sounded nefarious, as if it was breaking and entering, and it sounded like, you know, I wouldn't get to go to the same quadrant of heaven as Michael Beschloss and David McCullough and Doris Kearns Goodwin. So I always felt, you know, but now that I'm 102, I will tell you that I own the fact that I write an unauthorized biography, because I don't want to live in a world where all the information I get is authorized. I don't want that kind of a world at all, and I don't want you to have it either. A friend of mine said that tall trees gather strong winds. I didn't quite understand at first what she meant, because I'm anything but tall, but she said that if you stand up and you challenge the establishment, you're going to get a lot of friction. I live and die by a motto that I have over my desk, and that says, tell the truth, but ride a fast horse. If Oprah had granted me an interview, what would I have said? That's like asking me if I wake up tomorrow and I'm 5'7", how would I be? I mean, that's a hypothetical. What I would do, I would give Oprah Winfrey my book, and I would say, Miss Winfrey, because I've been told that people who work, you know, they're supposed to say Miss Winfrey, you're not allowed to call her Oprah. And by the way, her employees, when they leave the Harpo building in Chicago, they're supposed to refer to her as Mary, not Oprah. And the reason for that is she's terrified of the tabloids. But anyway, I would give her my book, Al, and I would say, Miss Winfrey, would you read this book? And then whatever you put in the margins, let's talk. In the meantime, pass the mashed potatoes. This has been a little bit of controversy. When I went down to Kosciuszko, Mississippi, I spent 3 days with her Aunt Catherine Carr Esters. And Mrs. Esters is a strong-willed woman, and she was very candid and forthcoming, and she said, I just don't believe, I can't stand those Oprah lies. And I said, well, Mrs. Esters, what do you mean? She said, well, she says that she grew up so poor that she put cockroaches in a jar. She said, we were poor, but she wasn't that poor. And she went on to debunk all of what Oprah had said. And during the time, she was pulling out pictures and the family tree, and she said, you know, Vernon is not her biological father, it's so-and-so. And I said, I had thought that Vernon Winfrey was the biological father. And Mrs. Esther said, no, I was there, so forth and so on. She said, you can't write about that. You have to give me your word of honor that you will not say who it is. And suddenly, I, as the great investigative biographer, got pulled in to the secrets of Oprah's life. I said to Mrs. Esters, I give you my word of honor. Now, Oprah has always given great credit to Vernon Winfrey because he stepped up and saved her from an awful life in Milwaukee. And I can understand why, on the one hand, she says she won't have a DNA test. On the other hand, I can tell you after those days with her Aunt Catherine that she has begged to know who her father is. And I said, why don't you tell her who her father is? Oprah's over 50. And she said, it's her mother's place. I can't do it.